So I recently saw the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, so let's talk about it. Jujutsu Kaisen Movie 0 is the latest theatrical offering from the studio MAPPA, who is quickly becoming one of the most dominant anime studios in the entire industry. And they continue to show why they're so highly valued right now with this insane offering. Directed by Seung-Hoo Park, who was a director for Jujutsu Kaisen and also The God of High School, this movie features a number of insane fight scenes, again capitalizing on something that MAPPA as a studio and Park as a director are incredibly good at, which is manipulating space. I did a whole video talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, which I'm just gonna call JJK from now because it's easier to say. But JJK Season 1 had an amazing ability to move its camera around in space and give these fight scenes a lot of intense emotion, a lot of really well done 2D animation, while also using 3D to move it around in space and make it feel like big, bombastic fights. And the value of doing it in that big motion is to keep it more as one cut, where you're not cutting in between and slowing down the action. Everything feels like it's happening right now in the moment, one after another, and it makes the action feel so visceral. Now, this movie has a lot of great action scenes, but it also has a new character. It's really interesting, this movie actually is a prequel to the original series. Instead of following our main character, Yuji Itadori, Yuji isn't seen at all. We have an entirely new character named Yuta. Yuta is a young high school age boy who as a kid was cursed by his friend Rika. Rika was his really close childhood friend. They were in love for, 10-year-old love. They had promised to marry each other. They had a really close bond to each other. But unfortunately, tragedy strikes and she becomes a special grade cursed spirit. She's immensely powerful and incredibly protective over Yuta, causing a lot of different problems that Yuta has to overcome, while also having to deal with a mysterious villain who we actually see in JJK Season 1, but don't ever really get any information on, named Ghetto. He's a manipulator on cursed spirits and overall bad guy. I'm not really gonna get into that. We're not gonna get into a lot of details here because, as you can probably tell from the footage I'm already using, I don't have a lot to edit this with. It's mainly a lot of trailer footage, and I don't think there's a whole lot I really need to go over here. If you're unfamiliar with what JJK is, then you should watch my video on Season 1. But if you are already familiar with it, then you should absolutely see this movie. Actually, even if you haven't seen JJK Season 1, but you're interested by this concept, you should still see the movie because you don't actually need to see anything from JJK to understand this. This is a standalone prequel story that was actually a one-shot before JJK even existed. If you are coming from a place of knowledge with the series, then you're gonna really love what you're gonna find here, because a lot of the series' best characters like Panda, Maki, Gojo, Todo, all of them are in here. The Nami's got some scenes in here. There's a lot of great characters, so I'll get some moments in here, that really makes you want Season 2 of JJK just as soon as possible. This movie is hype as hell. There is so many just amazing action scenes. I'm stressing that a lot, but I cannot stress it enough. There's so many great action moments in this. You get to see characters who are more side characters in the original series like Toge or Maki or Gojo get more time to shine. Though Gojo isn't really a side character, if you're into Gojo, there's a lot of Gojo in here, and you know what? I'm into Gojo, so really satisfied by this movie. And Yuta as a protagonist is really compelling. He has a lot of, anime tropes of being shy, unsure of himself, but he also has a really unique kind of kindness to him. He contrasts really well with the main character of the JJK series in Yuji. Yuji also has this really good nature to him, but he's more bright, sure of himself, confident. Yuta lacks a lot of that, and he kind of reminds me, and this is a little bit because of his design, he reminds me a lot of Shinji. He's not as whiny as Shinji. It's not exactly the same. It's just a little bit of a, I don't know, he makes me think of Shinji for some reason. But his growth is fun. His action scenes are great. The characters and their development is really fun. I will say the biggest flaw with the movie is I feel like the pacing is kind of rushed in places. I talk about this a bit in my main video on JJK Season 1, but there are a lot of times where, and I think this is because of the source material, the writing feels like it just kind of jumps forward at times, and the anime's not always the best at accommodating that, or giving you a little more padding between that to make those jumps feel more fitting. I think they work okay in the manga, but in the anime format, they can feel a little bit jumpy. Like the story can't wait to rush through aspects of it. JJK Movie 0 is based off JJK Chapter 0, basically, which is, again, as I mentioned, a prequel, a one-shot. It's more of just the birth of this series. And you can see in this how JJK Season 1 developed and where all these things came from. The more fleshing out that's given to Yuji's backstory as opposed to Yuta's. Not that I really want to compare and contrast on which one's better, but you can tell there's a bit of a difference in how they build up their characters and how they tell their stories. It's interesting to analyze from that perspective if you want to kind of dissect the thought process of the creator in this series and how they change things from going from a one-shot to the actual series itself. It's interesting. interesting. It's cool. And if you're a fan of the series and you like evaluating writing, then I think you'll really appreciate that aspect. Overall, it's a really fun shonen movie that builds out the world of JJK even more, has a lot of amazing action scenes, super well directed, just amazing fight scenes. Some fun characters, some interesting situations, but not the most deep plot. So don't expect something really complicated or challenging in any sort of way. It doesn't really fit that bill. It's great for what it is, and it knows what it is, which is an action shonen movie. And it embraces that role, it fills that role, it does exactly what it wants to do. It's fun, and it's something I can't wait to see again. I want to watch through these fight scenes again, see what they do, see how they, the little small things that they use. It's really exciting. It's a great show of animation talent. Just again, don't expect to be blown away by the plot. It's not complicated, but the characters are so fun and heartfelt, and there's a lot of really interesting moments in how they use these characters that, it makes up for it. It makes it all work out in the end. So that's JJK Movie Zero. If you saw it, let me know what you think about it. If you want to see more anime reviews or thoughts, stick around. I'm going to be doing a video on Ranking of Kings pretty soon, and My Dress Up Darling, and probably some other things. So hey, stick around if you want to see more anime stuff. Like this video if you like it, leave a comment if you want to, talk about the movie, and subscribe for more anime. And most importantly, I want you to have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having, and stay rad.